Finally, the Netherkast has come back to the airwaves. For the thousands and thousands of the Netherkast's fans, this is episode 11-1, and I am your host, The Razor's Edge. Regretfully, I must report that Cyborg and Temp are still on hiatus, but the co-hosts joining me tonight are no jabronis. Give it up for the people's champions, Shad and Django. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Fuck are you talking about? I have a registered jabroni card. Oh, we're doing really well tonight. Okay. So,
hey, what's up? What's going on?
It's going to be really hard for me to talk a lot about Cetrion tonight.
Is it?
I think so, because it's not often that, like, a combat cast comes along and it gives me 3 potential mains.
Yeah. I mean, we have of the 4 characters tonight. There's definitely a sense of which one's the most boring. But there is a lot of like lore stuff we know about Cetrion already that I want to get into.
That's absolutely fine.
God, I didn't even think about that. I'm stuck in a room with 2 lore guys.
You weak, pathetic fool.
This is going to be great.
Oh.
It's
all
okay.
Right. For my part, I'm going to try to like actually get into a little bit of the gameplay stuff. I'm no temp, but I know what I like and I know what I see. I'm very excited because tonight we got some people that really opened themselves up to my particular playstyle, which is, as they said on the cast, brain dead zoning.
All right, well, in terms of
that box is checked now, definitely.
In terms of order of reveal, Noob came first, then Cetrion, then... Or did we see Erron before we saw Noob?
Yeah, we saw Erron before Noob.
Like, in terms of what they showed off first, it goes Cetrion, Kollector, Erron, Noob. So, whichever guys you want to do first, I'm opening it up to the floor.
I just kind of want to get Cetrion out of the way. No offense to her, but yeah.
All right.
She's my least hype, I guess, character for the evening.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so she's basically Captain Planet.
This has been established.
Yeah. Rule 63, Captain Planet.
Gross.
I did notice of the 4 elements that she uses.
I got that reference.
The one she uses least is wind, so fingers still crossed for Fujin, maybe?
I'm telling you, I'm not eating.
I can't not laugh saying it.
Dude.
I keep saying, you shouldn't look at specials and attributes in a game as being evidence to deconfirm someone else.
Absolutely
you
not,
shouldn't.
No. Nope.
In fact, I mean, that vapor move she's got has me really hoping for some.
Ooh.
I think that's a very good sign. Then again, I tend to, operate on desperation mode. But to Cetrion herself...
I mean, we all want to believe the pretty lie that our character will come back.
I would like to. But I mean, I just got done believing something, and it didn't end well. Like,
yeah, we'll talk about that too towards the end. I want to get into that a little bit. But
my knees are so wobbly.
Okay, so as a lore guy, I'm still kind of navigating my way through the PTSD that I can now control an Elder God. That's fucking weird to me.
Isn't it?
That's really fucking weird. Like, again,
I don't think that's not
lore,
by the way.
They addressed that concept by nerfing what the Elder God.
Now, I don't know about that. We'll see. Maybe she's hamstrung in some kind of way.
Well, no, we saw So I was watching the Game Informer breakdown, which came out after the Combat Cast today, of Cetrion's moves, where 16-Bit went through it, and he confirmed that Cetrion is, quote-unquote, the Elder God of Nature and Life, and the opposite of Shinnok, who is the Elder God of Death. Now, from a lore point of view, I have humongous problems with this, because it's a massive retcon.
Well, I think
in the old timeline, Shinnok was established to have the powers, when he was still an Elder God, before he fell, of wind, earth, water, fire, copying people, lasers. All the things his amulet has ever done are his own Elder God powers. He put them in the amulet, and that's why without the amulet, he's so weak. He didn't gain the skeleton hands and raising the dead powers until after he was banished to Hell. He stole those powers when he claimed the throne of Hell. So to say that he is now the god of death, in fact to say that the Elder Gods are gods of things, is a huge retcon. Originally the Elder Gods were all equal in power, gods of reality warping.
They were just floating outer space interdimensional snakes, dragons.
Yeah.
I mean...
So this is something that kind of goes back to MK10. This is not exactly... It's not news that Shinnok's the god of death. It's news that he has now an opposite, which embodies the element that he was
always the god of death? Like, to retcon where he got those powers from.
It's a slow retcon, and it's not really much of one that I think really affects him as a character so much as what the concept of the Elder Gods are.
I think it massively changes the reason he wanted to conquer Earthrealm and why he was sent to the Netherrealm. Like, why would you put the god of death, imprison him in the realm of death where he basically has control over everything? That seems really, really stupid.
Well, it's a bit short-sighted as far as retcons go, but again, I'm coming from this not expecting continuity to ever stay the same ever again as far as we know.
I mean, I'm just complaining to complain and to educate people on what the old games used to say in case they ever get interested in going back and playing those games.
No, that's fair.
I am well aware that this entire timeline, there is no such thing as continuity, and there's really no point in cataloging.
Well, it's its own continuity, and
you can't even say that because if 11's retconning X, and both X and 11 are retconning 9, then there's no such thing as continuity. There's just whatever they feel like doing at the time. There's no reason to play and pay attention to a past game if the next game is going to rewrite it.
Retcons have been constant, ever since the old days.
Yeah, no, but they were always little things, and now they're the whole game.
I mean, defining what the Elder Gods actually are is, in terms of the lore and the story and what's being presented to us,
I'm not just talking about
kind of
that.
a background detail.
I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about, like, Erron's backstory and Scarlet's backstory and Kotal's backstory. Like, the humongous chunks, the entire basis, the foundations of characters.
All right, like I've said before,
massively different now.
Throwing an orphan into the Scarlet Pot is different for you, but it's not that big of a deal to me. It's just
saying Erron is not 150 years old and he's a black dragon, that is pretty goddamn different.
Now, that is weird, yes. It's possible that they can still resolve the two in some way, shape, or form, but one does appear to fly in the face of the other. We'll see. I'm not ready to flush it down the toilet just yet.
Right. Well, the other big thing about Cetrion's role and powers is that, Shinnok is her brother and Kronika is their mom. Now,
yes, that's...
Ed Boon has specified that Kronika is not an Elder God, but whatever she is a step above the Elder Gods in power. So now there is a thing, like a tier that exists between the Elder Gods and the One Being. And I wonder how that works in relation to what we know about the One Being.
I have no problem with it. I mean,
what's weird to me is to say that, okay, so she's Cetrion and Shinnok's mom. Who created the other Elder Gods? Like, was that Kronika too, or did she only create those two? Because if she only created those two, then who else is up there that we don't know about? Like, it's weird at that point.
Well, it's weird, but it's not they ever said that that's all there was. Now, I think the interesting thing that this does to the concept of the Elder Gods is it kind of expands on their nature a little bit. Because we've known for years and years that the One Being used to feed on them, and that's why they formed the Kamidogu and they split them into the realms.
Yeah.
And it was out of self-defense. So it's not like they were ever completely immortal and incapable of ever dying. At least not in the way that we understand.
Well, they worded a couple different ways. Some things say that he fed on them. Some things said that they were his slaves. It's probably a little bit of both. But
so what this does, I think, is it further develops the point that the Elder Gods, whatever they are, have some sort of cosmic life cycle, and is not dissimilar to what we know, because we've already seen the process of gods becoming Elder Gods, and maybe Elder Gods can become whatever Kronika is. So, it's not a thing, it's not a thing that chuffs me. I'm okay with it.
I mean, I just think it's weird to give some of them parents and then leave us wondering, so who created the rest? That's all.
Maybe there are very possibly other Kronikas out there. Or maybe she's the mom of them all. Maybe there's an Elder God, well, a person above the Elder Gods, just like her, who is the manifestation of space. Now we've seen the one that is of time. Maybe there's one for each Infinity Gem.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Reality.
If you're into if I was to make an assumption about how that's supposed to work, I might say that the other Elder Gods, possibly besides Cetrion and Shinnok, did the same thing that Raiden did until he decided to go back to work. Whenever he was made an Elder God.
So you think there were originally
that wasn't just like an ending somewhere?
You think there were originally only the two and everybody else was promoted?
I mean, that seems like it's possible. If you are looking,
I mean, that's sort
if you're
of
shopping around for an assumption to lean on, like that's an option. I think.
I would hope they don't go that way, because that makes the universe smaller. That makes Cetrion the only Elder God who actually matters. Like, all the rest are her promoted interns. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, and I get.
Again,
if you want to go down this fun road,
every previous time we've seen the Elder Gods, not just in MK9 but in other games, they're always like, they like all speak at the same time. Like they're like this hive mind thing, so they're like all equal in power, or they're all in sync in some way. So it's just to start making them individuals now, beyond Shinnok, who isn't an Elder God anymore. I don't know. It's weird to me.
Well, we've had a pantheon of them for a little while now. We had that scene in MK9, so we know that they have specific avatars that they choose to appear before him in the pantheon. So there's a limited amount of them. There's probably many.
I definitely. Whoa. You good?
It was just a cough.
We need you, man.
I'm fine.
Okay, good.
I'm bleeding out of my lip, and I'm still doing this.
I can see, man, we have some fucking badasses in here. Jesus Christ. I just got a stuffy nose. Again, if you're shopping around for new assumptions to make, because you have to with every new game, like you said, with the lore, because it does change. It is fast and loose. I guess you could think of it like the Elder Gods are, these beings that control and represent, or whatever what is in Kronika is like about what will be, which is a little more powerful than what is. I don't necessarily love that interpretation, but it is some kind of a nugget of logic for how there could be some force type thing that's above Elder Gods and still below the one being.
I guess so. Here's, I think, what really bothers me the most about it is if Kronika is more powerful than an Elder God, if she's like one step below the one being or something like that, and yet the game is going, Raiden, you can stop her. All you have to do is find her, physical hourglass machine. What the fuck is that?
In that Brainiac stage, it's definitely on Brainiac's ship.
Yeah, but
Okay, look. This is the universe where they made a bunch of knives that carved a being into separate realms. I'm okay with little avatars that contain power.
I mean, the knives are just, vessels, though,
Well, I mean,
just saying, it's
vessels, right?
It's a world of MacGuffins. This is
all vessels, man.
It's not that the hourglass exists; it's that Raiden stands a chance. That's what bothers me.
You just lost faith, and rightfully so, because he is these days kind of a dumbass.
No, I just mean in terms of like power tiers. Like Captain America shouldn't be able to take Thanos in a fist fight, you know?
Yeah, look, man, Thanos got arrested that one time. Anything possible. Anything.
We're fighting Cetrion in this game. She's down there kicking people in the face, and she's an elder god. Like,
yeah,
but
again, maybe the gods always have to like take a mortal form or whatever, and that makes them weaker.
As long as they say that that's what the case is, I have no problems with it.
Yeah,
I have questions about her manifesting above the planet Earth and firing down a gigantic laser beam.
I mean, I'm
willing to just say that's an art decision.
That seems a little buff.
What drives me crazy about that finisher is the proportions are all wrong. Like, where are her legs?
Jesus Christ.
Like, this is what I mean. Sometimes you have to take artistic liberties. Because if the laser beam coming out of her mouth was accurate to size, you wouldn't see it.
It would like
some continent should be gone.
It's
not
the
Jane's
size
midsection.
of Alaska. and like, so her waist is like coming out of Africa, so she's facing Europe when she shoots the beam or something like that, and yet the beam is tiny and lands at her feet.
Okay, remember that scene in the Transformers, the movie where Unicron eats Galvatron? Unicron is the size of a planet, yet he holds Galvatron between his index finger and his thumb.
Well, everybody knows scale is all wrong in Transformers, man.
And just, in order for that scene to work, Galvatron has to be roughly the size of, like, the UK. Just go with it. It's artistic liberty.
Yeah, I mean, look, Astro Train can fit everybody inside him, but when they're not inside him, he's the same size as everybody else.
They've been doing this stuff since
inside him. It's wonderful.
You know how big that Shang Tsung should be in Mortal Kombat 1 when he's sitting back there in the courtyard? That fucking proportions are crazy. It's the same for his throne room. We had lots of fun with that, with the other thing that I was doing that one time. But it's fucked up. It's kind of funny, actually. If Shang was that big, that'd be tight. Anyway, proportions.
Okay, so, like, I think that we've geeked out about the Elder God and the bit in the lore for quite long enough.
Yeah.
Django, what do you think about the gameplay?
There is one thing about her I would like to point out. I don't dislike her in general as much as I might have thought that I would have. I like her more than Kronika or Garrus. But I also like her because she's really fucking funny. She cracks me the fuck up. And this game felt like it was kind of missing some of the humor. Like her going into space mode and fucking blowing up. She becomes Brainiac's ship in his super for her fatality. Like,
we got a fair bit of humor today. It was nice.
Fucking chucking boulders at you and she's like, this is mercy. That's fucking funny, dude. This chick is crazy.
That is funny. Like, that is a fucked up thing to say. Like, I don't think Cetrion is... No. I mean, she's probably a good guy alignment-wise, but I do not think she's a good person.
I think she's out for, like, the balance. She's not necessarily... She's an elder god. She can't be taking sides, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, but she's, like, happy that Kotal's okay, but she's like, sorry, you gotta die.
That'd be funny if it was, like, the War of the Elder Gods or something.
I have questions about her personality and the way how an elder god sees the world, because
I don't give a shit.
Like, Jade, I'm going to kill you in a fist fight now. It's like, what? Why do you care?
Maybe if Kronika does reboot all of time, it's actually a threat to the existing elder gods. So perhaps they have as much stake in this as anyone from the past does. From the present does, who doesn't want to see things change.
Sure, she's just getting oddly personal with the ants as she beats them up, is how I feel about her dialogue with Jade.
She stops to check, is your husband okay, before she kicks her ass. Like, it's such a weird, like, shift of gears there. All right, cool, lady.
That is a bizarre intro, is what the main point is, yes.
He's doing good. You can kill me.
I do her saying, this is mercy, as she throws giant rocks at you.
Nice. We didn't have much of that in this game until now, so, you know, if nothing else, GG's.
I want to comment on her design a little bit, because I think it's right at home. And I don't know if it's intentional or what. Her skin, to me, seems to be kind of, depending on the lighting, a shade of light mauve to kind of a green.
I think we have seen multiple shaders already, is what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that her default is like kind of a light purple, and with like the green crystalline armor and the leaves and the wreath she's got behind her, it's not very overt, but I have felt since I first laid eyes on her that there's this kind of subtle nod towards the fact that her true Elder God form is that of a dragon. Very subtly. And I appreciate that. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I think it's pretty cool.
No, I would hope so. I was wondering about that myself. Like, do all these guys get a dragon form? Because, we saw them in Mortal Kombat 9 when they gobbled up Shao Kahn. And Raiden had that sick one in Injustice. I don't know what that was. They may not have been an Elder God in his super, but
no, that was
him
just turning into the logo was all that was the intention there, I think.
Well, I mean, he had like the wind pose, though, and it was all flying around him, wasn't it? Or did I make that up? I don't remember.
Did he create... I mean, well, look, Liu Kang turns into a dragon, but he also makes little dragons out of fire. It's the same thing.
Look, man, I didn't play Injustice 2 before the Turtles came out. I dropped it before then.
I don't...
Wrong guy to ask here.
I think we're thinking about it too hard.
All right. So gameplay-wise, she's... Gonna be a lot of fun for the zoners, no?
Yeah, no, she is very clearly a zoner character.
The thing that I really can't wait to try out with her is that like combo block stopping option, where like you're in the field and she has that ability to prevent the combo from continuing even if she gets hit by the start of it.
Oh yeah, I know that's
dirty.
That's the most appealing to me ability that she has, is that if you start a combo on her, she can still hit you after the first hit.
I didn't see that. Is that like an armor?
Yeah, it's kind of like an armor thing.
It's a field. Like, once you knock her out of the field, she loses the ability, but if she's in the field and she's being comboed, she can start blocking at any time.
But she's still taking damage, though.
Yeah, chip damage. But she's not static. She's not static. She can be knocked back if it's a long string. If you just kind of push her out of the field, it stops taking effect.
It's not really armor, it's just the ability to interrupt a combo.
Okay.
It takes 2 slots, so it's not a free select. Like, you're going to have to give up some stuff for that. And I think that's actually very fair.
Definitely going to apply to the people that are competitive.
Oh, yes.
2 slots.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing a lot of competitive Chronica play. This should be interesting. And she's got that vine grab. Cetrion, yes, I meant to say Cetrion.
Cat Ryan.
I'm already a little bit... She's got that vine grab that auto-tracks you, which seems really filthy to me. And I'm getting the sense that she might be a really good beginner character.
Her Fatal Blow auto-tracks. That seems...
Yeah, that too.
We saw several Fatal Blows that the initiation seems a little broken to me.
Well... It's not like there haven't been those in the past, and most of those characters I feel have been, for the most part, kind of balanced. Like Tremor had one. I think Shinnok had one like that too.
Well, what always sort of bothers me isn't the ones who have the really easy startups. It's why did they have them so easy, and then there's always one poor bastard whose initiate move is like in the air, like a dive kick.
Yeah,
because that guy is barely ever going to land his fucking super. You're just... The developers have decided, fuck you.
I actually hated that fucking thing out of Cybersub. I had trouble dealing with it. Almost took me off guard. But anyway, I'm a scrub. So moving on, was there anything else that she had? She had some nice mix-up options with like the high boulders and the low boulders.
There's lots of field shit. She's got lots of AoE effect shit.
She has these like fire lasers that shoot diagonal.
Those things, like they have a lot of startup, like you pointed out, but man, come on, dude.
She has, it's like a dive kick. It's like a teleport kick sort of thing. It's with water.
Yep.
And then she has, it's sort of like Rain's bubble. And then there's like, if you meter burn it, they freeze.
And there's the wind funnel that she pushes forward. It doesn't do much damage at all, if any, but it does stun them and leave them open for a little bit. That's pretty cool.
Was that the one that was in the trailer?
Yeah, I think so. It was a little Ford tornado.
I could not figure out what that thing was supposed to be.
I feel like all of her moves are very like flashy and like special effects wise, they're cool looking. I would like them better if I hadn't seen half of them on Tremor already. And if her design didn't remind me so much of Poison Ivy. I feel like it starts to feel like NRS is just kind of repeating themselves is the problem.
Well, everything's a test for the next game, as we know.
Yeah. I wish they would make it less transparent.
She's one of the most, like, she really, like, as soon as I saw her, it's like, oh, it's Shin Poison Ivy, basically.
Yeah.
And you can see Poison Ivy in there, and because you can see Poison Ivy, you can still see some Killer Frost in there, too. There's, like, this big through line with those three characters, which makes sense, and I get it, and it's probably the same designer. This one just is, like, cranked up to 11.
I mean, once we get to Kollector, you're going to see, like, there's also some evidence of some injustice to copy pasting going on there too, but I don't fault them for it. It's very obvious, but as long as you make use of it well,
I can see Paulo's vision on the screen.
His vision was give her some Swamp Thing shit.
Got some Freddy Krueger vibes from that fatality that they showed off of hers with the stone claws coming through the ground at you.
The second fatal. That was.
I did not watch that.
Oh, it's good. Go check it out.
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah, she blasts the skin off your face with a water hose move. And then she burns your legs off, and there's these little stumps left.
Naturally.
And then she makes 3 claws out of rock that slide across the ground and fall on top of you, and cuts you into 4 pieces.
I knew it.
It's stylish. I rather liked it.
I like that one. I like it better than the first one because I don't have any questions about where, her legs went and how she's shooting England and hitting you.
I mean, I love these things, but they are becoming cinematic experiences unto themselves, and that's why people don't want to do fatalities.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, we have said on many occasions that the brutals are kind of the
better option.
They definitely are.
They are the true inheritor of what fatalities used to be.
Absolutely.
If nothing else, there are some shorter fatalities in this game.
That's true.
And I appreciate that, I do.
There are still some that are like, why are you playing with that body piece so long? Like, that one's there. But there's some that's fast. Yeah. I like Jax. Jax has that sequence where he just fucking knocks you in half.
Yeah. He puts a rocket on your back and then clotheslines you.
Yeah. And it's over. You're done.
It's a good one.
You don't need anything
one,
else.
All right, so in conclusion, Cetrion.
Yeah.
Interesting character. Poses a couple of lore problems. Hopefully we'll see how those are resolved. Good girl for beginners.
The power is yours. Go planet.
Yeah, she's gonna piss me off online so much. You can already tell. She's
got heart.
What doesn't she have? Tell me what she doesn't have. That's a shorter list.
I'll tell you what she doesn't have. She doesn't have a collection.
Let's talk about the guy who does have a collection.
Let's talk about the fucking best new character. Oh, fuck me. I love him.
Please,
he's
this
pretty
is the guy
rad.
that I saw the least of, so
I think
fill me in. I saw the trailer.
We had a feeling he'd be pretty rad, like the first time we heard about him, and he's pretty rad.
What's in a name, If I'm hearing rumors that you're going to call someone Kollector or the Kollector, I'm expecting nothing but greatness. And, the rumors were that he was harvesting organs from people and that he was scurrying around on the ground, that he had, 6 arms. And I love how that's all true, but it still doesn't convey the essence of what he does and what he is.
Yeah, I mean, nobody quite captured the fact that 2 of those 6 arms are tiny little baby arms that serve only to hold his pack shut.
The little vestigial things, and it's kind of cute. Also, he's not a cat. Sorry, Tim. But oh my god, he oozes with style. And I love his position in Shao Kahn's forces.
Yeah, he's the tax collector.
He's a fucking tax man. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in the menus, some option of his or another is called death and taxes.
Yeah, that was actually one of the variations they showed off on the cast was
something like that. Yeah. But oh my god, I know BC wants to main him, and I know that he hates when people share mains or everyone's main the same character. And I'm gonna go straight to Noob, but it's gonna be hard to pass this guy up. I love everything he does.
Okay,
I love that he's like Melina, but better with that fatality, where he's checking out individual organs. Scrap, keeping that. Scrap. Here's the head, and I'll be taking that one.
There's something about this guy that's super 90s. Like, I don't know, like,
you know,
he could be like a Wildcats character.
He looks kind of like one of the OC Donut Steele's the Malibu MK Comics came up with, except better.
That's exactly what I said earlier. He feels like an author insert into the MK universe, but one who actually totally does fit. And that's for me kind of like the ultimate compliment for a new character like that. I felt the same thing about Ferritor. I know not everyone felt that way, but
well,
this guy just kind of like shows off more of that weird, creepy side of Outworld. The fact that it's a conglomerate of like mixed monstrous and mutant races, and I love that fact.
I mean, Ferritor is still a cool design. It's just kind of held back by the lack of... There's only so much charisma you can convey for a big guy who doesn't talk much, or a little girl who speaks like the Hulk.
But what a NJP on that dude, though. Man. He was great. Think of beauty.
So the race is called the Naknada. Thank you, Sai.
Yeah.
That's a very, very catchy name.
Where is that at? I didn't see that.
So they said it was actually the lore minute for the Combat Cast was Kollector's backstory. And then somebody asked how they spell it on Twitter, and we gotta confirm it's Naknada, the Naknada. They are yet another of the races that Shao Kahn has conquered and merged with Outworld. And the Naknada they don't have proper names. They all name themselves after their job because they're all very serious about what they do, I guess, is their cultural thing.
I mean, a lot of people have done that too.
And so the Kollector is one of the few guys in Shao Kahn's empire who actually enjoys his job and does it by choice and isn't, like, working for Khan out of fear or as a slave.
I love this intro with Baraka. It's like, Shao Kahn demands tribute. The Tarkata pay tribute in blood, not gold. Shao Kahn demands both. And yes, something that initially struck me, that instantly struck me, and I'm keeping with that. Holy shit, does he ever sound like the fucking Khajiit guys out of Skyrim? Khajiit has whales if you have coin.
Yeah, he's got a merchant vibe for sure. This dude's hella merchant.
Yeah, he's carrying a lot of shit on him. So, like, of his 4 arms that he can attack you with, one of them is holding, like, a ball and chain. It's actually, like, I think it's like an incense, what do they call those?
Sensors.
Yeah, he's got, like, one of those, and he, like, extends it out on the chain to hit you with it like a mace. And then in his other hand, he's carrying, like, a fucking lantern that he bashes you over the head with. And then his 2 top arms will pull knives out of his backpack to stab you.
I loved his fatal blow. So many stabs, and the shit-eating grin on his face as he slits your throat from the back. He's just oozing with so much personality. I can't help it.
I love that, like, a blatant knife across the throat is just a super now, not a finisher.
Well, I mean, when we get to Noob, that's even more of a problem. Yeah. But I mean, it's MK. Let's just keep moving past that. I've been hearing this shit since the first time Scorpion embedded his spear in a dude's chest. It's all good. You're not dead till the end of round 2 or 3. So anyway, so one of the abilities he had that I really enjoyed was the fucking chakra that, like, sticks itself in your chest and you're there stuck, squealing in agony for a couple seconds. And I think this is like one of the first times where, like, just sitting there writhing in pain.
I hope the actual lore on the chakram is that he did take it from Kung Jin.
Okay, did I hear them right? Did he take Moloch's soul?
They said one of his moves or gear items is named the Soul of Moloch. Yeah.
Fucking Christ, I am so sorry, Moloch fans. It's been a rough 2 games.
I wonder if he keeps the soul. That's what his little lantern is for, because he shoots these, like, these projectile moves that are like a glowing blue ball and a glowing green ball. I think they come out of the lantern. I wonder if that's where he's keeping Moloch's soul, if that's what that's about.
Where would you keep it?
I mean, you gotta have something.
Yeah, you know.
What else is in there? Maybe his dead
Just
elf
a vessel
concept
dog.
art. Okay, lot of people in this game having some ground burning moves, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, carpet fire is a thing.
It's felt like the third stream in the row where I've seen someone with this. Maybe the fourth. Kano had one, and like...
There's a lot of
Aaron's
napalm,
got one tonight, and... I mean, it's not a bad thing, you know? Like, not everyone's gonna have it as a default part of their inventory.
I mean, I feel like this is the first step, and then in MK12, everybody has a move that, like, just gasses the entire arena with Agent Orange, and then we're all done.
Okay, like,
Is that what that stuff is in Sonya's intro?
No, I
It
think
has so
that's
much
just,
like orange smoke.
Yeah, I think the army just uses colored smoke so the helicopters can find them. I don't think it's a fucking chemical weapon.
Is that the lore?
On account of she walks out of the cloud of it, I'm betting it's
Well,
not bad for...
you know...
She is a cyborg. I think she'll be alright.
That's actually a really good observation, you know? We're sitting here wondering, like, why Cetrion's not just nuking the entire site from orbit. Why is Sonya in a fight where she can just drop missiles or gas on people?
That's true, and like...
You just gotta let it go.
It's not... She has a helicopter, and she's usually flanked by, like, 6 guys with fucking
Yeah, I was about to say,
AKs.
she walks up from behind these, like, armed dudes to the teeth, and she's like, nah,
I got
it's
this.
cool. I'm gonna punch him.
Swiss cheese. It's fine.
This is how
Okay,
she
so-
got promoted to general.
Damn!
Thinking like this.
Okay, so there's a lot of, like, Scarecrow in Kollector. Were you guys seeing that, too? Because I was seeing
There's a
some.
bit, yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, I guess you can see that. There's a lot of animation in there, too, but yeah, he's also got the chain thing.
And I noticed at one point he does appear to have something not too dissimilar from, like, or an Ermac or Kenshi levitation push slam. So
Somebody's gotta do it.
he's going to be kind of a repository for missing characters, it looks like. Can't
Why
complain
not?
much.
He's
I
the
wouldn't be
collector.
surprised.
He's collecting all the moves that aren't being used in this game.
That would fit the theme, yeah.
And some that are.
Something are you?
Well, but really, I'm so impressed by him, you know? He just fits. I feel like he's an instant
He does
classic.
look really cool. And, you know, sometimes it's worth complaining about when they retcon in that a character... he worked for Shao Kahn all along. He was off-screen during MK2 and 3. And it's like, no, this guy... The tax collector wasn't going to be in the martial arts tournament.
No.
It's perfectly fine.
Okay, like, I don't have a problem with that.
He was taking bets on the martial arts tournament.
Like, Shao Kahn leads armies. You can't expect his army to just be composed of a bunch of no-name guys, 3 ninjas, Shiva, Motaro, and, like, I don't know, whoever else that he runs across.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Shao Kahn, I mean, all of the guys that we've met in previous games are just the guys who, like, fight. Like, captains in the military, or a whole lot of assassins who kill
Reptile's a
rebels
spy,
for
we
him.
know this.
But there's gotta be, like, you know, there was, like, a Grand Vizier, like, a guy who makes the laws. There were, like, surely judges for the courts. There had to be somebody who collected the taxes. He needed officials in his court, and... You know, since I was a kid, way back when MK3 Ultimate had a bio for Katana that said the quote-unquote high courts of Outworld are the ones who, like, said she was guilty of treason for killing Melina. I was always like, wait, who the fuck are the high courts? What characters are those? You know? And now we're finally getting to see Kotal and the Kollector fill out those spots. So I like some of these guys being retconned in.
So, like, sure, Shao Kahn has a table full of his highest, like, officers and his general or what have you, but he's also going to have a court room, a court of people, a court of advisors, viziers, collectors, tax collectors. He's got to have legions, call it. He's going to be running an entire realm.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Bring on the forces. I'm good.
I mean, it's probably not an awesome court. Like, don't expect, like, fucking fair trials and shit to be going on. It's probably like the fucking court in, the Dark Knight 3 or whatever that movie was called.
The one Scarecrow was the judge of?
Yeah, man, that's the high court. To fucking throw people in the ocean or kill them right there. That's a Shao Kahn court right there. That's what happened.
You know what? I want to see an Outworld judge. I'm picturing, like, that Klingon from Star Trek 6.
Oh yeah,
Just in
his
the
gavel
shadows
was
with
like
the
a big
hood.
ball. He just kind of... It made
Just
sparks.
It was a steel ball attached to a claw glove over his hand.
I could see Cillian Murphy playing this dude, the Collector.
And no matter what he judges, the verdict is always guilty. Because he's like a quintesson. It's all sadism. All right. So anything else to say about Kollector other than, holy shit, welcome to our universe?
Do we know the lore? Did he come here from another timeline with maybe Dragon Shao Kahn?
Or
has he been here the whole time?
Somebody posted a bio on our Discord. I don't know where they got it, but it said that the present timeline version of the Kollector has been in hiding since Kotal took the throne because he was skimming off the top. And Kotal was like, I'm going to root out all the corruption.
You're paraphrasing, right?
Sort of, but that's actually more or less what it says. Like, as he was collecting taxes, he was keeping a lot of gold for himself. And so, ever since Kotal took the throne, this guy's been in hiding. But he was recently caught and is waiting to be executed when the game starts. So that's what present-day Kollector is up to. And then past Kollector will obviously be working for Shao Kahn.
I'll buy it.
Wonderful. Either way, just wonderful. Welcome to the universe of Mortal Kombat, Kollector. You have a spot in my heart already.
GG's.
Fucking thief.
I mean, you've seen the win pose where he's like, look at all the gold in my bag, and then he like, no, it's mine!
Yes.
According to Eris, a fucking treasure goblin. Wonderful. All right.
He reminds me a little bit of Larfleeze from the Green Lantern comics.
Yeah, seriously. Mine. Got an urge to go listen to a Perfect Circle's The Package song now. This is mine.
So next in line was Erron Black's moveset.
Well, yes, I guess so. Because we probably want to save Noob for last.
Yeah.
So, Erron. All right, let's get this out of the way right now. Reptile fans, I'm so fucking sorry.
Yeah, that's as much of a confirmation as you're going to get who's not in the game.
I feel your pain, but to be fair...
Did I miss something? What happened?
So Erron no longer throws grenades full of sand. Now he throws grenades full of reptiles' acid spit.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
He literally has reptiles' acid. It was called out as such.
Dude, that guy fucks up in every game. It's about time there was actually like a prize for it. Like, Jesus Christ.
He did pretty well for himself
now, this doesn't mean Reptile's dead. It just means he's not in the game.
That means he's strung up and they're like squirting out his venom like you do a snake. They're doing that shit.
Look,
okay, yeah, it either means
Erron is a weird guy who collects a lot of weird things.
Is it that weird? It's a trophy. Actually, that's a weapon.
Who knows? Who knows?
A little bit of Reptile's venom. He's got the Tarkattan's arm. Like, this dude sees good weapons. He's taking it.
He actually doesn't use the Tarkattan sword anymore, which I am thankful for, because he only had one fucking move with that sword. The animation took forever. I got really sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that rifle stance where he just kind of cocks it and he walks up to you as he's firing, that shit is so Terminator. I love it.
That's pretty badass, yeah.
He's got a lot of cool animations, man.
You have to count the bullets in your head. They're not automatic. He has to reload.
Yeah, I love that.
The term thinking man's zoner.
And
you know, free, like, oh, it's great.
Other fighting games have done the you have to keep track of your bullets thing before, but then they put it on the fucking UI. They didn't do that for Erron. You actually have to remember how many times you've shot the gun.
Poor Sonic Fox.
I mean, I'm sure he's really good at counting. He's got
he's gonna be fine. He'll be just man. He's got too much space in his brain at any given time. He'll be fine.
Yeah, like take some more Adderall. It's gonna be fine.
He's not worried. Man, it's really fun with Erron Black specifically because he was new to MKX, and MKX had ass animation. It was so bad. And so getting to see this character that we've only ever seen with ass animation now, with good animation, is really cool. This dude looks sick at this game.
I really like the animation for Meter burning the bear trap, where he kicks it across the ground.
I don't know if I spotted that, man.
Yeah, he sets it down on the ground, he moves it forward and slides across the ground, and it's a ground.
I got the video playing, and I just watched him do the thing that Shadowy was talking about, walking up with a rifle. These animations are tight, dude.
It's threatening.
Sorry, it's great.
Now, speaking of animations, the dynamite, the fucking dynamite. Dude. Oh man. We're talking about lightheartedness and how like this game has been missing some of that jokey stuff. There you go. Like they said, it's perfectly Looney Tunes, and the fact that she instantly catches his hat and puts it back on his head.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wonderful things can happen when you cyberbully NRS, man. Everyone gave them so much shit for their animation. The YouTube videos, everybody everywhere was like, man, I'm tired of doing like that, Katana's duck kick thing. Man,
they've definitely leveled up and stepped up their game.
Keep cyberbullying them, because who knows what else we'll get next. Keep doing it, man. We got netcode, we got good animation now.
Yeah, they do. They do actually like respond in the next game to whatever like shitty thing everyone called them out for in the previous. So like it was like, oh god, Raven's jaw, and then they got good at faces, So yes. we do need to keep like that habit up. It's obviously paying dividends.
Have you actually noticed that on the main website, Devore is wearing her hood now? She's not naked anymore?
I suspected from the moment they revealed her render for the first time that was not a finished design. Because when Kano got a render, it didn't have chest hair. It was not finished.
Yeah.
So,
which makes you wonder why they did that anyway, especially Devora, who we still haven't seen gameplay from. Like, why did they show her?
It is weird that they revealed Devora so early when she was clearly not done. Because we're getting to see her for the first time next week.
Deadlines, marketing, time frames, any number.
It could have been a change of plans too. Like they had to do like, this website wants to show her, so we'll let them do that. We weren't really planning on it. Then that fell through.
I'm pretty sure they revealed Devora on their own Twitter. I don't think it was an exclusive anywhere.
That's just really weird.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe the Twitter was a leak and they fired that guy and they got a new Twitter.
No.
It happens.
There have been a lot of stories saying that they were behind schedule and development, so I think they were just rushing to get as much as possible out there as soon as they could. The second they had something to show us, it's fine.
If you didn't notice that they missed E3, them being behind in production schedule, it seems pretty likely. I can buy that.
I've said it before. Take the time you need to make the game. If they're going to delay it by a week, if that winds up happening, I mean, crossing fingers, no. But at this point, if they were going to have a delay, they would have announced it by now.
So according to our Discord chat, they did in fact reveal Devora first over on a video for...
Yeah, it was on like Xbox or something.
Yeah, it was like Xbox something or other.
That's what I thought. You guys fucking talking about Twitter.
Well, I saw the Twitter first and then that video after, so...
Although, come to think of it, though...
It is still weird, but I mean, yeah.
If they really are behind, if they have been behind, I'm just going to say now, expect a very large day one patch right off the bat. As soon as you install that thing, you're going to get a patch. Just don't expect to play the game as soon as it's done installing. No. Expect to have to install another patch on top of it. Be patient.
That's pretty much standard procedure for every goddamn video game now.
Yeah,
it is.
Kind of across the board.
Doesn't
that happen? Yeah.
Be ready.
Hopefully I have to imagine you would download that day one patch if you like preload it, if you get it digitally and preload it. Man, preloading is tight.
It's Erron Black.
Yeah.
These other genes of his are really tight too. And
he's good, dude. Well, when he was revealed for the first time, I was saying, he's like one step away from the Canadian tox.
Oh boy.
Well,
Okay. I like the kind of half cape, like quasi poncho thing he's got going on over the shoulder in his alternate, in the jeans.
Yeah.
I think actually I might like the alt a bit more than I like the main. We'll see.
I do kind of like him in a leather jacket. Yeah.
Yeah. It works. John Marston, eat your heart out.
Yeah, we all approve. It works. The cowboy. Keep doing it. But man, it looks so much better this time because the poncho can actually poncho now. Like, you couldn't poncho in MKX.
That's true. It was fucking anemic.
It looked kind of like he was wearing, like, you know, a bib on backwards or some shit in MKX.
There were problems. But now,
going back to animation for him a little bit, like, he really looks like he's, like, throwing haymakers out in that punch string of his.
I'm super glad. I'm super glad the drop kick is back.
Yeah, dude.
And you can apparently, like, mix up the punches and, like, throw out the slide in the middle of that string, which seems like a really, really good mix-up opportunity to me.
As he should. Like, and they said it on the thing, like, he shouldn't be doing any kind of martial arts or whatever
no, he
like
didn't
that.
learn kung fu. He's a fucking cowboy.
No. And it feels more like he's brawling this time through, which is always...
It's a slobber knocker.
Yeah. Oh, shooting projectiles out of the air.
I saw that, dude. That's tight.
Yeah, that's like a stance, and like when you let it go, it just shoots them, or if you hold it, then it blocks the projectile.
He was just full of style today. I like what I'm seeing a lot. The juggling gunshots in the air, too.
I'm surprised how different his moves are from X. Because there's quite a few things that didn't come back.
I'm kind of not. No one, it seems, really liked the sand grenades. Yeah, the caltrops weren't a big thing either.
I didn't like them because it felt like if you're gonna have him like collecting weird magics around Outworld like that and the Tarkatan sword, there should be more of it. So I kind of still feel that way. Like, I like that he has these fucking jars of reptiles acid to throw at people, but I kind of wish that was part of a collection of different bombs he could throw. But,
you wanted to be fucking the Atom?
You know, they got rid of the sand, and it's just the acid. So it's a little disappointing, I think. But
I don't want the Atom back, dude. That guy... Boy...
Again, I got no opinion on the guy. I gave up on Injustice 2 way before he was ever out.
Yeah, I never played Adam.
All you need to know is that he didn't have any animation. They just didn't animate him.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think the ABI tutorial video called him the man who refuses to animate.
That was his thing.
Jesus, that bad, huh? Yeesh.
Well, he just disappears a lot. So they don't have to
ducking,
do anything.
The way he ducked was literally to shrink in place. And they didn't even put a special effect on it the way they do other times he shrinks. He just gets smaller. Just the model gets smaller. That's how he does.
Yeah, he doesn't even like bend over a little bit or anything. It's the same pose, same stance. It's just now I'm half the size.
Well, I see what they're going for, but at the same time, that was absolutely a time saver.
Yeah, like put the effect on it though. Like when he shrinks, usually there's this after image thing, or like these little atomic swirls around him. But not for the ducking.
That, like, with Ant-Man. The Ant-Man, he's got those like weird little, you know, duplicate trail things behind him whenever he's shrinking and shit. But it's my personal opinion that the fucking all of NetherRealm Studios were like, fuck this guy. We want to animate the Ninja Turtles. Let's go work on the Ninja Turtles.
Probably.
And I wouldn't blame him a bit.
So did we see an Erron fatality today? I don't know if we did.
I think we did. Did we? Oh yes, we did. We did. He
Did they actually do it?
So he throws the reptile's acid jar at their feet.
Right.
And then he makes them get down on their hands and knees and puts his boot on their head and forces their head into the acid.
Yeah, he like shoots their kneecaps out.
Except he finishes the job. He doesn't just leave him with Two-Face.
That's another thing that's got to leave the reptile fans raw. And I know there's only so many things you can do with a gun, but I'm kind of holding out hope the other one's a bit better, because this doesn't particularly scream Erron Black to me. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I mean, I like it, because the freeze frame at the end is a cowboy boot and a head exploding underneath it.
That's fair.
There are lots of head-exploding fatalities in this game.
Yeah.
That and eyeballs are kind of their thing.
Oh, there was a jawbone this time. That was nice and gross.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess that brings us to
the star of the fucking show, the man of the hour, and my new main.
Can we just say, like, thank God for some fucking ninjas in this game? Like, dude, it's been fucked up how few ninjas are in this game. And I count Erron Black a ninja because I goddamn well have to in this game.
He does wear a mask.
He does wear a mask, and that's fucking whatever. That's all
I mean, cowboys wore like bandanas over their noses. I see what they're going for.
I totally agree that there's not enough ninjas, but at the same time, I'm glad the ninjas we got don't include Reptile and Ermac, because we've had those guys quite a few times.
Yeah. We have a nice unexpected ninja quotient. We get like smoke or rain, it'll be nice.
Yeah, it's literally everybody in the world is going, where are smoke and rain? And they're right to ask, where are smoke and rain? What the fuck?
It's a good question.
If I don't get smoke, I at least got his Shaolin monk's outfit, which I've been waiting a very long time to see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I want to hear you guys talk about this, because I just saw the noob shit in passing, and I have it playing over here, but...
Okay.
What's the looks? What kind of cool gear does he have? Because, you know, that's been the hype. One of the hype things about noob is seeing what the fuck can he put
We only really saw 2 skins for him. We saw his main.
The default that we've all...
And the other one we saw kind of reminds me of that shirtless Silver Skull kind of look he had at MK4.
It's a combination of that and, like, Smoke's Shaolin Monk's look.
Yeah, he has like a ninja V over top of it, but he looks kind of...
silver trim. It's kind of neat. And he looks like he actually might be unmasked.
It looked to me... Okay, so I think... I've been looking at a few different Noob Saibot gears we've seen, how some of them he has like that medieval surf cap, and the one we saw today, it looked kind of like he has the nose and mouth piece, and then it kind of looked like it covered part of his forehead too. But you could see his ears, like he's not wearing a hood.
Are you guys looking at the Netherkast chat or the...
Yeah, that's the one. So
let me jump over there.
I've seen a picture of a third gear for him I think it was in the Game Informer article, where he has a hood, but it's different from the surf cap one, but he is otherwise wearing his primary costume. So I think what's going on with his gear is that the hood and mask are a single piece of gear for him. And so there are many different variations of the hood.
This is what's weird. Like I saw the one that Snake Eyes posted, but the one that I posted, and the one that I just saw when I was watching the video, like you can see the mask really clearly. Like they're like over the face part.
Yeah, it's definitely like the nose and mouth part. But he's also got this like weird ridge on the top of his otherwise bald head that I think is part of the mask.
Okay.
So it might be it's some kind of tribute to his weird MK4 gray alien form in a way. But that thing must be uncomfortable over the ears to be that visible.
It is definitely an odd look. I'm surprised that Noob is bald under the hood. Like I always imagined Bihan with hair.
I actually kind of didn't. Like in his lifetime, sure, but I figured that once he became like undead or a wraith, he was basically just skin and shadows.
I mean,
that's kind of what I thought. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, boy, if they fucking make his mask fall off during Fatal Blows, I'm going to get pissed. Because that just seems really weird. Like, I almost expected, like, his mask and his clothes to be just part of his body.
Yeah, I do feel like that because he's a shapeshifter made of black goo. His clothes should be part of his body. It's weird.
He's not like fasting this shit on in the Netherrealm and shit, putting on his gloves and whatnot.
The way gear is programmed to work, like it'll clip through stuff if it doesn't come off.
I personally always figured that maybe he didn't have that much of an actual face, just a pair of eyes. That he was shadow that could still change clothes.
Well, there was that point during the production of Deception where Havoc was originally going to be a Noob Saibot costume, so they envisioned him not having the lower half of his face. And then they decided, well, we made it look too different, so we're going to make this a new character.
I mean, it was a good choice. Because, I mean, Havoc was an instant classic.
That's true.
We still love him to this day.
And Noob looked good in that game, too.
Come to think of it, Noob Saibot as an entity has spawned both Reiko and Havoc.
It seems like creating knockoffs of Noob is the secret ingredient to making a pretty cool character.
He's just reproducing asexually over there.
Okay, so he's also got some as our dear friend puts it on our Discord, Sub-Zero says he has some Batman-ass legs. Yeah, I see it. He's got like the upwards like spikes along the sides of his legs.
Yeah, he does have like Batman's like the fins on his gloves and boots. Yeah.
But he's also just a fucking edgelord.
That's true.
And they do talk about this the medieval shit they're trying to give him too, that spin, which that kind of seems like that like epic high fantasy dark armor like knight shit.
Yeah, they're going like Lord of the Rings, Ring Wraith, like
Dark Souls,
World of Warcraft villain.
Lots
they
of
said
Dark
on the
Souls.
cast there's something very 90s about him. He is very edgy. Down to like he keeps his weapons inside of his flesh. He's poking out of his chest.
That's true. He is storing the sickle in his own back. Just
he does seem
there.
like a guest. You're if Todd McFarlane did his own version of Batman. Like there's a bunch of that kind of shit back then, and it's just retarded and over the top and whatnot. And it could be a lot like this. I wouldn't be that surprised. It is 90s in a lot of ways.
Dude does not give a fuck, and I kind of love him for it.
I mean, look, it was 1992 when he died. He's kind of stuck.
I'm kind of confused by that bio of his that says he's out to regain his lost honor or something.
You know what? I think that's just a funny way of wording basically the same thing his Deception bio said, which was, well, my masters are dead now, I finally get to choose what I want to do.
It's less cool.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the way they worded it. But we have seen, there was actually, I guess, Brusque received an email that has, some character summary stuff, and it gives him a much more traditional bio about being fucking evil.
Yeah, okay, just seriously, nobody who is a living shadow, who throws out clones of himself, who stores his sickle through his back and out his chest, who sounds like that, is out to gain honor.
No.
This is a bad
No, the man never had honor to regain. Like, he specifically went to hell when he died because he was a fucking dick. He was a contract killer.
Also, that bio says he was unjustly murdered by Scorpion. Okay, you're both part of a fucking clan of assassins.
I mean, I don't know that unjustly is the right phrase, but he was killed for the wrong reasons.
Okay, fine.
He killed a fuck ton of people. He just didn't kill that one person that one time.
He killed the guy that killed him for the wrong reasons, but he's still killed.
It's like, look, I didn't do your wife and kid, but I am the guy who killed you, so...
Come on, man. Boy, are those two ever going to have a chat? That'd be tight.
Can we talk about the moves now?
Yeah, let's talk about his moves.
Glorious moves!
The dude has a clone dive kick.
Yeah, he got Sub-Zero's Injustice 2 dive kick.
Dive kick. Oh my god, it's wonderful.
Now, I don't know how Sub-Zero plays in Injustice. I never touched the poor bastard, but that seems like the most broken thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, it was, because that's why it was an ability move. You couldn't use that shit except for, in casual mode, but it was fucking fun as hell, because you could jump up, hit somebody, then after you hit them in the air, then throw out the kick, and then hit them on the way down, too. Yeah, it was fucking busted, but it was fun. He even did the same pose.
I am spinning around in my chair in joy at the thought of all the brain-dead zoning possibilities.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. It's wonderful.
It's hard to think of what to call it. It's not cheap. It's a little cheap.
It's just really, really, really safe. That's what you call it.
The fucking Ghost Ball is unblockable again. It has disgusting startup. But the fucking thing that makes that prevents you from blocking is unblockable.
Does it still prevent you from blocking? It drains your offense and defense meters.
It drains your meter. They said it drains your meter. Does it do anything else besides that? I don't remember.
Did it drain your meter in 9? Or did it prevent you from blocking?
I think the meter burned version would drain your meter in 9.
Okay. Because, I wanted to play him in 9 very desperately, but I couldn't deal.
I'm going to look at that right now to see if it drains. It has to be meter burned right now to drain shit.
I don't know if the 11 version actually makes it so that you can't block stuff. It might just meter drain.
Okay, according to our Discord, it's unblockable, it drains 1 offensive and 1 defensive bar.
That's good, man. That's still really good.
Really good, yeah.
I guess, but I kind of want Noob to be as dirty as possible.
Dude, that's dirty. You can't do fucking shit without that, man. You can't break away, dude.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but when I think of Noob Saibot, if you had to explain his game style in one word, I like the word cheap.
I know
it's an easy thing to say, but
he's got another guy running around, gonna hit you in the ass when you turn around. Like, he's pretty cheap still.
I want Noob Saibot's thing. I want his legacy from now until the end of time to be the guy who is more broken than Cabal. That's what I want Noob Saibot to be.
See? This guy gets it.
I agree. Listen, dude, this guy's walking around with a fucking hook in his back. He's he's not looking for a fun fight. He just wants to fucking fuck you up and laugh while you're doing it, but he wants everybody to see it, and he wants you to feel humiliated.
Apparently Nine's Ghost Ball also confused inputs. Jesus.
Yeah.
Did it?
Ugh, I wanted to use this guy, but I just couldn't. He was just too vulnerable.
God, that throw, man, where the guys hold you from the ceiling.
He was.
I played quite a bit of MK9 Noob.
You would.
I couldn't. He didn't suit my playstyle, but now maybe with this dive kick and a couple of different varying scythe options, I'll still be predictable because one thing they went out of their way to point out is that he doesn't have like a lot of low options. Or he was low. It was one of the two. It's that he didn't have a lot of highs or a lot of lows.
No overheads. That's what it was. He didn't have overheads.
Yeah, because he does have like the clone slide still, so that's a low.
I think they said you have to equip that though. Like that's not a standard.
Yeah, that's equipped. But I mean, why would you not?
Why would you not? But you have to equip this other move that will give you an overhead. So maybe you have to pick.
And they also said that he had about 7 or so strings to work with, not a whole bunch like other people, which is absolutely fine.
I mean, 7 strings sounds like a lot more than like Chronica got, or I mean, Cetrion.
I mean, and to be honest, you rarely need more than that for any character. The rest are just fucking. You don't want to use them because they're trash.
Yeah, no, like you only really need 3.
Usually, yeah, that's how it shakes out. But especially this guy, who's like I said, he's got a homie that's running around fighting you too. Like, you know, he doesn't need to have a billion strings. He's got another guy for that.
I had for my Melina gameplay in X, I had like 1 or 2 mix-up combos on the ground, and like my go-to that I'd open them up with like the roll and the neutral jump punch and the juggle afterwards. I didn't need much more than that, like 5 combos at maximum, you know? So this is fine by me.
I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
You do have Tekken players out there who will, like, as Temp said on Twitter the other day, will memorize an entire fucking legion of strings. But 7 to these people is comparatively lower, I guess. But to me, and I guess for most people, that's fine.
I mean, strings are all Tekken does, though, you know? Like, it doesn't have special moves outside of, like, Devil Jin's eye lasers.
And for someone who is, like, really old school like me and focuses a lot of their gameplay on, like, specials, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn Noob, and I'm going to learn him hard.
Okay. Yeah, this Ghost Ball, his normal Ghost Ball drains just the 1 bar of each. It doesn't drain anything from him.
Did they show can it be meter burned?
I didn't see a meter burn. I don't think, but it has a lot. But I mean, that's kind of the trade-off. It's a really good move if it drains 1 bar of each, but it has a lot of startup.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only fair, right? You know?
Well, you know,
yes, absolutely.
That Erron's Bear Trap has a huge amount of startup, and I mean, I think people have been. I don't know if they've changed it and I haven't noticed, but I remember from the reveal, the thing that bothered me the most was how much startup Sub-Zero's freeze has.
Yeah,
I felt I felt that Sub-Zero's freeze was actually a little bit kinder than it was in earlier versions of X. We'll see what it's like.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to touch Sub-Zero in a Mortal Kombat game.
Because one of the reasons I was really disappointed, again, that like we couldn't play, nobody could play him in the beta, was because I felt he was really offense capable, which is very appealing to me because I always loved my Sub-Zero to actually kind of be really aggressive, and turtling doesn't really fit my playstyle with him. So I was excited to actually get my hands on him again. Sucks we couldn't, but hey, only 18 more days.
It's coming.
So close, I can feel it.
he's not going to have a clone, but this guy right here is a top pick for my side hoe right now, so at least he's got a clone.
Just wait till you see that the little ice shower move that Sub has. Oh, it's so good. So stylish.
He's got... Which one is that? Is that the one that's horizontal?
It's a bunch of like little ice spikes that he just kind of like shoots forward.
Oh, okay, yeah. That looks like the freaking Spider-Man move. He's like doing the web blast thing.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that one looks cool. Man, this guy looks good. I like this guy.
So, is there anything else that we've neglected to cover?
Well, the one thing I wanted to talk about before we jump to user questions was, how do you guys feel? I know Django has an opinion on this, about the fact that,
yes,
are presets only, and, like, ranked is preset variations only.
Now, they made a lot of... they made a lot. They made quite a point today to address that fact. They said they've heard the concerns, which is putting it mildly. And while we're starting off with like 2 variations that are presets, more are going to be added. And there will be no augments, either in casual or ranked.
Oh!
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
No augments in casual. I actually hadn't noticed they said that. That is really good news.
Yeah. So
because that was the big concern that people were having on our Discord, was they wanted to be able to play the game with the moves they pick, but without having to worry about augments unbalancing it.
Yeah. So augments are off the table. That's like local shit only. I'm pretty sure I heard them say no augments in ranked or even casual.
Right. It is important to keep in mind, late in Injustice 2, they did a bunch of patch the online stuff, and that's when they added ranked sets instead of just one and done in ranked. And I'm pretty sure they also added a couple of extra modes. Like there was like a competitive casual, and it sounds kind of like what they're talking about here. But then there was another one that's just, fucking dry hump each other.
I mean, people in our chat are saying that it's just flat augments do not work online. Period.
I mean, that's fine with me.
Awesome news.
There are no stats either. It's not like Injustice where you have to like fucking boot shit up and like level up your gear, and so that's a bit of, well, you're still leveling up gear, I guess. They mentioned something about that, but like
leveling up gear just makes more slots to put augments into it. But again, augments are for local only, so
that sounds like God of War.
But you don't have to like go through the trouble of like getting different gear pieces that have better stats and shit. That's thankfully.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if they had a separate online mode that was okay with augments, like that. That's fine, like a designated one, but whichever way does. But yeah, I'm happy about the augments and the other ones. I'm glad they addressed that. And
they've also said that they're going to look at the possibility of customs for ranked and tournaments further on. Thank you.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they weren't expecting that kind of backlash. I mean,
listen, when Sonic Fox gets on the Twitter mic,
yeah. Like, I don't fucking play ranked at all, and I'm like, oh, I feel your pain on that one. Ugh.
Well, I mean, it's like I said a billion times everywhere else. I just wish they would have done it sooner. I wish they would have told us sooner. So
yeah, they did. They did wait too long to announce that. People would have handled it better or been less upset if they had more time to talk about what they're actually doing and what the response is from the community and what the solutions will be in the future, instead of waiting until 2 weeks before the fucking game launches.
Honestly, go ahead.
No, your turn.
Well, honestly, I think most people that were looking at custom variations, like at the reveal event, when they first started talking about this stuff, most people who do play, competitively or on ranked would have been like, they're probably just going to do something else. Like, you probably won't be able to do that in ranked and whatnot. And that was the assumption. But when they didn't say that wasn't the case, and they went on and on for months not saying that was the case, it kind of sends a different message. And
it's a PR concern. They did a poor job with the marketing on this issue.
And I really don't think that they knew how they were going to handle customs and right from the beginning. Yeah. They were always a little bit vague about it. It's like, we're looking at this, we're looking at that. So
apparently, as they were looking at it, it took them this long for Paulo to go, it's never going to be balanced. Let's just do presets.
And they're behind schedule. Like I don't.
That's the thing.
Envy them.
Yes.
They had so much to juggle with and contend with.
Yeah.
Every single thing that's been going on with this thing, with this game since the reveal, has screamed that, has underscored that. Like, there's something that happened that they're behind on. The way that they weren't that they weren't sure with amplified moves. They weren't quite,
I think it's just so
ready for that thing.
Technology advances every single game, but they still only have the same 2 years every game.
They do, but I mean, like Injustice 2 came out, and they released that pretty confidently, and it didn't change that much after release. There wasn't that many patches. But this game, they did the stream, and they were like, "Oh, we're buffing the mobility. Oh, we're not sure about how amplified moves are going to work. We're still playing with the damage, amounts." And then even here, they're like, "We're going to add more variations down the road. Don't worry." Like, they're doing a lot of disclaiming stuff. So
yeah, I think they're trying a lot of new things. Like Injustice 2 didn't have a whole lot of new mechanics in it.
It had just the roll and the air flippy thing, but
those aren't big major programming achievements.
It definitely wasn't the same, same hard break, the same differences you see between MKX and MK11, which is like these are the same video game. Like it's completely different. It's not even remotely the same shit.
That's the other thing, is just how much legacy gameplay there is in the Injustice series compared to like an MKX. They reinvent the wheel every time.
And I always say, like, I get that for a DC fighting game, because it's like people just want to jump in and play Batman. Like, they don't have to relearn Batman every time. It's actually good for sales if people can be like, oh, I'll just pick up the new Injustice and I know how Superman plays or Batman plays. That's fine. I get that. But I'm glad it's not the same for both games. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Reading now that apparently the only augments which will function online will be stuff like XP boosts or currency boosts.
Yeah, it won't be anything that changes the gameplay. So
gameplay is intact.
Really good news, because that was the big worry. It was augments and casual.
Just think about this, folks. Everything that they've brought up, that the community, that the fans have brought up as a concern, is being instantly addressed. They are trying. They're behind. Oh, yeah. They have to put so much work, and they're trying to address every single worry that we've had, and I can't give them enough props for that. It's wonderful.
Which is why it's always important to go voice these things.
It is.
Don't do the thing wins rain, fucking please, rain win. A billion of those are probably still not going to get you rain.
You need to do it intelligently, like ABI does, by making a video pointing out everything wrong with the animation.
Yes, right.
Speaking of intelligently, to everyone who was shitting on the Kollector video today on YouTube, because he stole Melina's Fatale, I Control-F the word Melina on that YouTube page, and I think I got 5 results. Shut the fuck up! She's in the game! Oh my god, you people, you're driving me...
Just, those people are not worth paying attention to. They're 14 years old and they want the titties, man. They'll get them. Just ignore them till then.
Oh my god. It's just be patient.
They're not going to get them. I don't know why you're saying that.
Waifu. You don't want her as your waifu. If you have her as a waifu, she destroy your lifu. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
I don't know why you're infatuated with the fucking bear trap, but...
Yeah, speaking of bear traps.
Yes. Good lord. Come on, man. What are you guys thinking?
But yeah, so I think we've pretty well covered our concerns and alleviated some concerns about how variations in ranked and stuff like that is going to work out. So
they've been addressed. I wouldn't say alleviated, but they've been addressed.
Oh, we do have one more little topic to bring up, actually, before we move on to Q&As.
Okay. So
the trophy list finally leaked this past week, as it always does.
As it do.
So, folks out there, I'm pretty sure a lot of our local community on the Discord knows this by now, but to anyone listening who doesn't know the trophy history of the past couple of games, they kind of shot themselves in the foot for MK9 by including unlocks for Cyber Sub and Quan Chi on the trophy list. So before MK9 was out, we all knew that was going to be those two were going to be in the game.
Yeah, you know, hindsight, man.
And this game has some trophies like performing 2 fatalities with each character. And a lot of the rumored DLC or unlockables, Koff Melina, Koff Shang Tsung, don't show up on that list. Now, again, you should not take this as confirmation one way or another, deconfirmation that your character is or isn't in the game. Point in fact, I'd actually say that not seeing those names is more of a good sign, because it means that they want to surprise you. They know they messed up once. It's not going to happen again. Also...
Yeah, just don't come down on either side of those, though. Like, don't set yourself up for disappointment. Like, there's not a yes or no thing.
Exactly.
Just, stay in the middle.
Also, this looks like a really easy platinum, and thank you, guys, for giving a trophy, for giving out respect points rather than getting them. I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, that is a smart change.
Was that disco trophy in MKX, the flip stance like 20 times in an online match or whatever?
I think there was
That's back.
Yeah.
I know that the teabag one was one in MKX. I don't remember the flip stance, though.
I think that one's gone. I'm not sure.
I don't think I saw the teabag one in 11.
That was hilarious. Press down like 20 times in a row in an online match. Listen, the first time I tried that, I didn't know what it was going to do.
Oh, yes, and thank you, Raymond.
This is easy. Wait a minute.
So, tag is in the game if you're playing
sort of.
Yeah, it's just a tower.
Addendum,
It's a one-player tower.
That would have made for a great headline, Chad.
But I'm going to play that tower a lot.
Okay, we were just going over this point. They listen. They know. Let them know how much you want online tag. And because if they're looking towards ranked customs, there's no reason they can't do this in a couple of months. None. It's a lot of work. But they've put in so much already, and I know that they love us, and they know that we love them, and I think that they can make it happen.
Well, they love us. They don't love us enough to give us fucking Smoke and Fujin.
No, they'll never love us that much.
See.
Their love is conditional, I've learned.
We shall see.
But no, you guys want tag?
Fucking newspaper.
Keep talking about it. Keep talking about it coherently.
I think they're just not that into us. I think it's not love, it's platonic friendship.
Listen, man, I don't have an ice clone.
We're in the friend zone, and that's why we can't have smoke.
No. I ain't gonna have that. This has been a 20-plus year relationship of give and take. Hey, check out this weird red ninja that's totally in the game, lol. Okay, we'll see your red ninja. Hey, check out this weird, creepy...
This red ninja
lady. Okay, have that red ninja lady. Wouldn't it be cool if that guy on fire in the background was a character? Bang, here you go.
Here's a red ninja cyborg.
Wouldn't it be fun if we had that one loser gigantic burly ninja from that game no one played as a character? Bang, here you go. They listen, and they've always been listening, and I can't love them enough.
They did.
Except when it comes to smoke.
And Garrett's got his moves.
Listen, I'm willing to take them for the team, okay? As a Smoke fan, my life ever since 1994 has been suffering.
I mean, at this point, we've taken like 6 for the team.
Just give him a happy ending.
So much
not a hand job, just let him be human. Okay, fine, a hand job too. He deserves it.
Come on.
I'm so tired. As a Smoke fan, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It could always be worse.
All right, so who wants to search through this chat that never gets pruned for questions?
All right.
You guys really need an Armand in here.
We haven't been good.
You can't have my Armand. No. Don't.
You know, we run a tight ship on the Lost, and this is not that.
Okay, I'm sure there have been Isn't that variation called Bihan's Wrath? Certainly is, Card to the Low. I keep scrolling up.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, one of his variations is actually called Beyond's Wrath, which I think is possibly the first really cool custom variation name that they've put into this thing.
To be fair,
I was going to ask, are these actual variation
Well, yeah,
names?
they said on the Combat Cast that the variations we've seen in the beta and, like, the ones 16-bit makes are not the ones in the launch version. See, he's just coming up with these names. Like, you're not going to play a Scorpion called Boone's Mane in the version of the game that ships for 11 million people to buy.
I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised, but, you know, that's fine.
I mean, those moves will probably be a variation. I'm just saying the names are not, you know.
Oh, yeah. Another first for tonight's trailer for Kollector was actually something that really appealed to me. I mean, I know you guys like your 16 cent or your 50 cent or wherever the hell was in that last trailer. I've already forgotten the name, but today's Kollector trailer actually had some really sick music. If I can use a tempism, it was sick. And I hope against hope that's actually in the game, because it was right up my alley.
Did I hear that? I think I did hear it. I think I did hear it.
If you didn't, you need to. It was good stuff.
It was a track that I noticed it exists. So yes, I hope it's in the game.
That's the thing. There's been a lot of those in these trailers, and every time
like all the trailers
Noob
have
had
good
music
music
too.
Which makes me wonder.
And I'm like, it's not gonna happen, dude. It's not gonna be in the game.
The game is gonna screw us on the music front.
Don't like them too much.
It felt something off like the MK Annihilation soundtrack, so right up my fucking alley, because I'm old. All right. So Card to the Low asks us, supposing that either Sector or Cyrax are a DLC, what new moves would you give them to make them stand out from the other tech users on the roster, like the special forces, and potentially redacted, because, you know, we shouldn't be talking about spoilers on the show. Shh. Someone's a robot.
Oh.
What would I give? So
Sector or Cyrax as new moves.
Teleports.
The main reason Triborg bothered me less than it did everybody else is because I can't think of new moves for Sector and Cyrax. I think their base kit is just fine, and they don't really benefit from variations or gear moves. I'm sure somebody more creative than me can think of some stuff, but Sector is already shooting his missiles in so many different directions. I don't know what new missile shit you can do with him.
You know what I've always wanted to see him use? Remember back in MK3 when he just threw with the shoulder clamp without even trying?
That's true. I do miss the little arm that came out of his shoulder.
It was really neat. So you could like do some like close range command throws with that. And you know what? I want to see him use fire a little bit more often too.
You want some carpet fire from him as well?
Yeah, it would actually really work for this guy. And actually thinking about Erron's walk forward,
I wouldn't hate it.
Sense.
Sector would use napalm. He would.
Yes, absolutely. It works really well for Sector. It would just be unfortunate because a lot of other people already have that move in this game.
Yeah.
I would not mind seeing Sector walk forward like Erron Black with fire and ha laughter. Just fire to all the things.
You know, now that I think about it, Sector frequently uses invisibility in cutscenes, but has never had it as a move.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to see Sector do? He does a teleport, but you can make it into a 50-50, so he can do his normal one, that's the up teleport. But he can also do an overhead that comes down from the top. But when he's coming down from the top, it's just fucking throwing down napalm underneath him with guns blasting and the whole way fucking down. You can't get out from underneath it. It's just this crazy fucking shit.
Yeah, you know what?
Flashing lights everywhere. That'd be tight.
One of the things that actually bugged me about Triborg's smoke form was that weird drop-down teleport that he had. That I'm like, that's weird.
So that was based on the third hit of his EX teleport in 9. They just cut it off and made it the move, and then you had to
I think that's what made it awkward for me.
Yeah, you could like reenact the whole teleport if you started it with a string, but it was awkward.
That overhead teleport with Sector does not work if he's not playing a bullet hell game. Just aim downward at your head as he's landing on you. Just do that; it'll be fucking tight.
I'd like him to like land with his like heels crushing the guy's temple and like pull the MK3 wind pose as he's doing it, like the fist on the breast, like crunch.
I would play that character. I would try him out.
If he's doing the pose, it kind of reminds me of like if you're playing Tanuki Mario and you turn to stone in midair over top of a guy.
Look, I missed that wind pose, man. That was like It's one of my favorite win poses of all time. I just want to see it come back in whatever way possible. And I don't feel like they kind of got it right in X, although they tried.
Yeah.
They had the wrong angle, and the other hand wasn't far out. But
yeah, there's like a specific like tombstone stiffness about like the way he does that salute.
They shouldn't be moving. But more questions.
Well, hang on, now you got me thinking. This is hard.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about Cyrax at all.
Yeah, no, Cyrax is, he's an important fellow.
He's the one I have trouble with because he's already got such a wide and varied skill set.
Yeah, he's already got everything in the kitchen sink. Like, what the fuck more?
I think I would play around with it, especially if it's like a variation situation where you had to do 3 things for Cyrax, or 2, whatever.
I know.
I would give him melee weapons, because Sector just fucking wants to shoot you with everything and fucking whatever. And call fucking Thakuden if he wants to. But I would give Cyrax some more interesting melee, like up-close weaponry to use mixed into his shit. To kind of like, be an opposite to Sector in that way.
You know what?
Maybe a staff?
You know what? I would bring back the Pulse Blade for some slow combos up close.
Yeah, he could have the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean, that would mean that Takeda can't have it, and I don't want Takeda to have it, so yes, please, let's give that to Cyrax.
Takeda doesn't have anything right now.
Well,
Also,
the sun will come out tomorrow.
I don't know if, this has bugged anyone else the way it's actually kind of bugged me since going all the way back to MK3. But the guy explodes for his teleport.
That's true.
And you're gonna tell me that pieces of that don't do damage to you?
That's true. He should be shooting rocket fists.
I'm just saying, he could EX that teleport and actually have it damage the guy in different ways depending on what angle, what part of his body hits the opponent.
You know what? He could have self-destruct command grabs.
Yeah, seriously.
Wasn't that one of Sub-Zero's fatality, Cyber Sub?
Yeah, but Cyrax can put himself back together, so he should be doing it all the time.
Okay.
Honestly, blowing himself up has kind of always been a Cyrax thing.
It has.
That poor depressing bastard.
I think he needs to see it shrink, man. There's
he
something
needs to do
there.
Something, man. He needs some new friends.
This is what happens when you're the cyber ninja who was selected to do it.
Yeah.
But you kind of only did it out of loyalty. Just regrets. Just regrets for the rest of his cyber
concerns. As a friend.
He needs a friend. That's what you guys gotta get him out of there.
The man went to see Ninja Mime of his own free will.
And Johnny still hasn't given him his money back.
Some debts to settle there, man. You know what? That's my regret. That's my biggest regret that Cyrax might not be in this game, is that we're not going to get that sweet, precious Cyrax Johnny Cage dialogue.
Yeah,
they have to bring that back up.
Cyrax has not had a voice in any game where he had, where he was free of the programming and had a personality.
Yeah. That's a shame. Okay. Aim Dopeness asks us, will you guys be discussing the Cetrion breakdown that was shown by 16-Bit and Game Informer? Yes, we did.
No.
Look, listen to these lies. Card to the Low asks, do you guys think that the chick from Jade's MK9 ending was Cetrion the entire time? Because there's similarities.
All right. I have had that thought. Chick has a weird skin color and her outfit looks like it's made of crystal. And we all kind of thought it was going to be Kronika because she mentions wanting to, redo time and shit, but maybe it was Cetrion. It looks more like Cetrion.
I just wanted to put that to rest, that plot line to rest. I'm so fucking tired of hearing Dream Goddess, which never existed anywhere. People made that shit up.
Yeah. At this point,
that
it's
ending,
time to
they didn't make it up. NRS made it up. They put that ending in the game.
Where was Dream Goddess ever mentioned? I didn't hear Dream Goddess.
Okay, so they don't actually call her a goddess or mention dreams in that ending. People kind of connected that ending in their heads to Tremor's ending.
Yeah.
Which
so
obviously is not
what's
going on.
And right.
One way or another, it's just time to accept the fact that whichever one of them she was planned to be, maybe they'll tell us in the game that Jade met them. And we'll get resolution to that. But for now,
I think it was probably her.
She was a concept for one of the two.
I mean, she did fight Jade in her trailer.
Yeah. Possible.
Tinfoil hats, people.
Are there?
Look, Ed Boon is listening to my thoughts through the fillings in my teeth. I need the hat.
That would be hilarious, though. She fucking was in Jade's head, and then the first thing she does in this game, I gotta kill your ass now. I like that. That sounds like an Elder God to me.
Okay.
Tinfoil blocks the radio waves, man.
Cards of the Low asks us a couple more. Why do you guys think that when it comes to 3D era characters being on the roster, NRS seems to favor Deadly Alliance crew over a lot of the Deception, Armageddon, and to a lesser extent the MK4 crew? And do you think they favor the DA cast a little too much?
You guys got this.
I think the DA cast deserves it.
I think that it's that, and it's a mixture of a couple of things when it comes to the Deception guys. One is that nobody likes Kira or Cobra. Two is that Hotaru and Havoc are, for the most part, kind of tied to the concept of their realms. To really get those guys in, you have to have a story that centers around or highlights Order Realm and Chaos Realm. So they're kind of stuck when it comes to those. And also, no one likes Dairu or Darius.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, the only kind of person introduced in Deception that doesn't really have any ties to a big plot and can just be used whenever them is Ashra. And Ashra's moves weren't great. You'd have to do a lot of redesigning to make her work. She just had a cool look because she was, quote-unquote, the one who dresses modest. And now that they're trying to make most of the cast dress modest, that means she's losing what makes her special.
I don't think it's out of the question that we'll see her again at some point.
I would hope we do. I like Ashra.
She was cool.
So the other problem, like I said, you can do her whenever. You don't have to tie her to a story. That's not 100% true. They did reveal in Armageddon that her fucking demon-slaying sword is actually designed for vampire hunting, and it makes you, like, it mind controls you into wanting to go after vampires. So it is more likely to see Ashra if they ever decide to bring Nitara back or do vampire shit again, and less likely that you'll see her if they don't want to touch on that stuff. But, I mean, just in general, she does have, like, ties to the Netherrealm and Quan Chi, and she's all about, like, purification, so it's weird that she's not involved in trying to restore the Revenants or something like that. But, I mean, the other thing is, huge chunks of her overlap with parts of Serena's identity. And Serena's cooler.
I don't think it would be a huge problem to actually bring Taven and Dagon back, but it would be weird to bring one back and not the other.
I really think Dagon needs to be around without Taven. Just because the Red Dragon Gang is important to the lore, especially to Kenshi and Takeda.
Yeah.
And you can't really free Taven from the rocks without talking about Armageddon, and I'm sick of hearing about Armageddon. They need to, like, not mention Armageddon anymore. Dagon can be in stuff without mentioning Armageddon, and Taven can't.
This is true. I would like to see
my boy come back.
I would actually, despite myself, like to see Blaze come back someday, but not in his, like, Astaroth on fire form.
Not Fat Cinder?
The problem is he's kind of a walking plot device.
He's not really...
He's the personification of Armageddon.
Yeah, he's not really anything but that. Like, he doesn't have, like, a pre-established personality. He's just...
It's hard to bring him up without bringing up Armageddon. Extremely hard. Almost impossible.
No one wants to do
that. I don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately. I really... Like, Blaze is a kind of a character concept that I kind of grew up idealizing, and when they finally brought him around, it was really cool. But now, I mourn for what I mourn for what he's stuck being a part as, you know? So, he also asks us, how does it feel to finally have an Elder God on the roster? Is it everything you expected, and what do you think caused her to get involved in the story?
I never expected it.
I mean, I count Shinnok, so...
It's weird. You can, like, rationalize him in a weird way because he's fallen.
Yeah, that's true, but, like, still.
I never
If he
expected to have
has
a
his
fully
amulet, then
functional-
he's supposed to be
Oh my
at
God.
full Elder God power. Like, the Shinnok we had the entire time in MKX always had his amulet on him. And then you fight a version of him that has both the amulet and the power of the Jinsei, and he still gets knocked unconscious by Cassie Cage. And it's just
It's true. At least
sad.
MK4, he had a knockoff amulet. Right? Was that the thing? Quan Chi
Yeah,
gave him a
yeah.
fake?
In
Yeah, it was a
MK4,
fake.
he's carrying like a fake one, and he thinks it's the real thing, but it only works
He
when
went
Quan Chi's
and,
around.
Found the Kollector, and Kollector made him a fake one.
It was Quan Chi.
That's my... Yeah, no, Quan Chi went to the Kollector. It's like, make me a fake one of these things. But he had to look real good.
Okay.
I think the point is we all know
can find that for you.
that Kollector has the real one now.
I like that canon.
Okay, Swarm Queen 99 asks us, seeing as how Devora was shown on the same day as Kano, but hasn't been shown at all really since then, do you think that's because she's going to surprise a lot of people with her gameplay, or maybe she's a part of major story moments? What do you guys think?
I just think she's not done.
She's going to be shown off next week.
Yeah, she's probably
Next week
done
is
now. I
Devora
just
week.
think they revealed
Yeah,
it
she's
too
done
early.
now.
They didn't have her ready.
They had a lot of work to do. That's all there is to it.
Her really cool hipster, like, hoodie and sweater. They hadn't gotten it yet from Etsy, but it's there now.
Yeah, I
she's good.
really don't think that the naked Devora that we see in the render is her
No,
actual
no.
costume.
No. I mean,
She's
we
got-
saw her in the
she's-
trailer. She was in that story
She's got the
trailer.
hood on. It's fine now.
Right, but I don't think her alternate will be naked either.
No.
By the way, I love the disgusting bug background she has. It's everything I wanted.
I am
I feel
on
like-
record, and I want to say this on the air because I've said it in the Discord, but if anybody who plays me picks the bug stage, we're not friends anymore.
I feel like Giant's Temp will now be free. He's not going to function.
This game definitely is going to have some fun meta whenever I go up against you guys, especially Tim. Tim gets, he's a sensitive guy.
He is very uncomfortable about bugs.
I'm going to use it.
Shark asks us, MK has a good history for making interesting races, but the Shokan aside, we've only met one member of any other Outworld species unless you count Chameleon. Which other race, such as the Tarkata, Centaur, Vampire, Oshtek, Chitin, Saurian, or Symbiotes, would you like to see developed?
I would like to definitely see more Tarkatans, especially like a fucking female who's not Melina. She doesn't really count. I also I would say centaurs, but they're not coming back.
Centaurs.
They're never gonna
That has-
decide to model an animated fucking four legs.
It has that has to be my answer too. I want it. I want it to be centaurs. They're never coming back, but I want to know why they're like the mortal enemies of the Shokan. I want to see that history. I want to go back to the ancient rivalry.
They just
And,
have the same number of appendages. That's all it is.
I wish,
There
It's
could be
like-
only one, man.
I'm pretty sure
it's like looking at the
official.
fucking Silmarillion.
I'm
There's
pretty
this
sure.
whole story there that I wish was a fully fleshed out novel.
I'm pretty sure the original thing in MK3, it said that they come from the same realm before conquered it, and they've always been at war over territory, and so it just continued on.
Okay, sure, but I also do kind of want to see different specimens. We have so many Shokan now,
Yeah.
and we've even seen other members of the Oshtek race. We've seen a couple. We've seen a concept for another vampire. We've seen female Tarkatans in concept and in backgrounds. and stuff.
So there is the one shot in MK3 demo mode of a horde of centaurs running across a desert plain, and it's one of the coolest shots, and I want
I kinda
that,
want more of that.
I
Yeah,
want to actually see those
exactly.
guys. And
That's the one I think of.
almost all of them are wearing the cybernetic tail. I want to know where those fucking came from. That's important to me. Where did
They
these
both
guys
are
from
Kano.
Outworld get this shit?
Or the Lin Kuei.
They're just it's probably customized Black Dragon tech, but who fucking knows?
It was probably Kano.
Anyway, it's a story. The centaurs are a story I wish could be told, and I think that the only hope is a future MK adventure game, and I hope that one day that does come to fruition.
It would be nice to have something where we explore and we're not on the rails of this has to take place during MK2, like Shaolin Monks, or there are 6 different realms, so you can only visit a very small amount of each realm, like Shujinko's Conquest. Something really big and AAA adventure-wise, or like, I mean, they've talked about Ed Boon. I don't know if you saw that, like, 100 and some questions rapid-fire video he did very recently for Game Informer.
I watched that, yeah.
One of the questions was, has there ever been talk about an MMO? And he said that he thinks there had been by like higher-ups at Midway, but none that came to his level. And I think like an MMO would be... I think there's a lot of people who, since Deception, have kind of wanted that. And there is so much lore and so many characters and environments in the Mortal Kombat universe that it would actually be really easy to come up with one.
But those are really expensive.
That's
and
true. And also, like, I think MMOs are kind of dead now. Like, the era where that was a big thing, it has long passed, and now it's just World of Warcraft refusing to die.
See, I kind of really don't want an MK MMO to happen, because then I will start to look like Plunkett sounds on Red Letter Media.
Yeah.
Leaving
the house ever will become very difficult for quite a few of us.
I will become the 300-pound guy that lives in his basement and just doesn't move. Just balding, beer gut, absolutely everything. I'm just gonna go to shit. You can't let me live in Outworld because I'm never gonna leave. Okay.
We all secretly want to be Erron Black. We all want to live that life.
Just let me roam the plains of Outworld riding a centaur, free as a bird.
Centaurs would be mounts.
It should be for Erron Black anyway. By the way, I want an Oshtek.
Holy shit, I'll pay a commission if someone draws Erron Black riding a centaur.
Yeah, fucking Erron Black needs a warhorse. Get on it.
Fucking A. All
That's
right.
true. Cowboys usually have horses.
Yeah, it's not unheard of.
Kiela Clutch asks us, does anyone think that since Kuai Liang Sub-Zero gets so much frack that NRS will somehow make it where he dies and old Sub-Zero Bihan comes into the picture from now on to reignite the feud between clans? Or are they just going to keep the partnership?
No, if they want to do Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, all they have to do is retell MK1, and they can do that infinitely for the rest of history.
There was, in those rapid-fire questions, asked, do you ever want to, ever have the urge to keep the Scorpion Sub-Zero feud going? And he was like, no, not really.
Well,
and that was actually a big surprise to me, because I figured that he'd like that classic element. But it's good to me to know that he's on the same page as a lot of us, where we're past seeing that. Let the series evolve and move forward.
I don't think that there's any need for it, though, because even though there's still, like, yeah, they've moved past it, but it doesn't fucking matter, because you can still have those two fighting each other to the death in every trailer, and it's fine. Like, it's cool. Like, you don't need to fucking justify trailers and shit.
Like, we will see Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting for eternity. There's no reason to do it in story mode.
No,
they're always going to have a reason.
Canon.
And, like, Mortal Kombat being what it is, you can't expect someone to kill each other every other game. You know?
It's except in versus mode.
The other thing is, if you ever turn Bihan back, then you can't use Noob anymore.
Fucking people need to stop talking about that.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
I have been saying people need to stop talking about that for like 10 years. I'm tired of people who want Bihan back as Sub-Zero. Noob Saibot's a better character.
Back as Sub-Zero, you want him back for your happiness, not for Bihan's happiness. He's happy where he is.
Said it again. I don't mind the notion of Bihan coming back, because I find the notion of an evil Sub-Zero to be cool. But I would only ever want to see it done in a reboot. And I would hope that he becomes Noob Saibot again eventually.
Yeah, like, it's only good for prequel material. You can't do it in the present day, because Noob Saibot's too fucking cool.
He is really cool.
Blight Phoenix 726 asks us, why do you think that MK is one of the only fighting games where each round isn't reset to the middle of the screen, and would you guys care if it started doing it?
Killer Instinct doesn't do it either.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, people, do your homework.
You know what? It's a lot of fun to actually see them get up all frustrated. It's atmosphere. It doesn't feel like you have to reset the fight.
It's true. It feels more like a fight.
Flow. There's a flow. It's more natural, I think.
And I like seeing that moment when the other guy gets up. Like, that's another thing that you have in actual fights. Like, you know, that's a cool thing. And no, I want him to keep doing that. Yeah, it's fucking annoying whenever you start a match in the corner. Yeah, that sucks. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that, you know, things that are different from the way it happens in other games are bad. No, like, you know, that's a Mortal Kombat thing. Keep it up.
The other games, the other fighting games out there, there is less of a sense of, I don't know, verisimilitude or whatever you want to call it, a sense of suspension of disbelief where, like, why is a fight 2 rounds anyway? You know?
It's true.
Like, that's an illusion. That's a gameplay mechanic. So,
if you want to be really...
start over from neutral, as if time has passed, you've gone off, licked your wounds, and come back for a second fight, like, that doesn't actually make sense to do.
No.
If you want to be really critical about it, you could even look at it from the perspective that fading to black and restarting the fight in for a second round is kind of an outdated visual aesthetic, because Killer Instinct was doing this in 1994.
Yeah, they were.
This is not new.
I mean, you could dry up each other before you could attack for a while the, like, you know, it said whatever, fight or ready. You know, you couldn't actually attack yet, but that's still fine. That's cool. Darkstalkers did it too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd love to see, like, Dhalsim push himself up with his springy hands and get back into position.
Yeah, I like that. I like seeing the dude getting
those
back
animations are actually really valuable to, like, fleshing out characters.
Could you imagine, like, Vega getting up, looking at a little mirror at his face, snarling and putting his mask back on? You're gonna fucking get it now.
Yeah, that's stuff that's, like, missing from other games that MK
good.
does. It's good shit.
House of James. Question for the cast: did we think that the crypt takes place during the same time as the events in 11 or before the 1 tournament? I think that the crypt is an item collecting game.
I don't think the crypt is
not
canon.
Part of the story at all.
It's canon.
but if it had to be, I think it's like before or during the tournament, you know? Like, because Shang's an old man and he's on his island.
Well, we see Shang's island in one of the stages, a couple of the stages in this game, and it's not looking so hot, but it looks pretty okay in that intro to the crypt.
Well, we also saw, like, a shot in the story trailer of a whole bunch of, like, monks having their souls sucked out, and then Jax fights a bunch of zombie monks. So I think, like, when we go to Shang's island, it's going to be normal at first, and then something will happen to it.
I mean, if we consider this crypt canon, do we have to go back and consider the older crypts canon? Have we always been Kollector this entire time, running around looking for treasure?
You know, that's actually gets into the crypt avatar, the fucking Kollector.
Should be.
Because he's Hornbuckle, goddammit.
Who is this asshole in, like, purple and green?
He is fucking Hornbuckle.
Mine.
You'll all see.
I hope he's Hornbuckle, then he'd be somebody.
He's
now
Hornbuckle.
he's just not the Kollector, and that's not cool, man.
He's Lou Hornbuckle.
Okay, I'm scrolling all the way up, and I'm trying to find more questions. I'm not seeing any more. Just a lot of conversation that needs to be pruned. Has there been anything at the bottom, you guys?
There was one or two at the very bottom.
Yeah, there was a couple of... What's the lore behind the necropolis? That's where you go to look at other people and they can't look at you. It's a little creepy.
It's another warrior shrine?
I don't know.
Sorts.
I mean, a necropolis is a city of the dead. It's not that, so it's just a dumb
But it's
name.
the necropolis. Wasn't there one about Onaga?
Yeah. Okay, so Damashi asks...
Damashi did some role-playing.
The closer we get, the less my hope remains for the Kamidogu to make an appearance. What will this mean for me? I mean, Onaga's appearances in future games.
You have no hope, dude. Shao Kahn's walking around wearing your body for gear.
No, I don't think that's
what's going on, bro. You don't have a body to go home to.
I'm pretty sure they just decided Shao Kahn would look cool with some scales and spikes, man. I don't think he's actually a dragon now.
I like my version a lot better. Dude, Onaga's like his biggest threat. Like, you know, Onaga's the one dude he's fucking afraid of.
But
so
this
hell
Shao Kahn
yeah.
is from the past. This is a retcon of what MK9 Shao Kahn looked like.
Wait, what?
Shao Kahn is from the past. He died. Kronika pulled him out of the past.
Yeah. It's a different timeline Shao Kahn. One where he was like, listen, Onaga can't come back if I'm Onaga. Like,
okay.
Come on, it works.
I think that's some headcanon there. I think you're making that up.
We have an older question by Shred, which apparently devolved into people posting Ronda Rousey pictures and like pictures of the Jade bust and all sorts of stuff. Kind of controversial, but a new topic brought up is the girls in MK being less revealing. And the interview with art director. Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing it.
We went over it very briefly, but basically,
it's a recurring thing.
My point of view is that, it's more about character, and they clearly have a guy who has like a across the board philosophy in charge of character design, and that's not how characters should be designed. They shouldn't all be the same across the board in any aspect. Like, a person like Melina has a personality-based reason to show skin, and a person like Sonya has a personality-based reason to not.
Melina needs attention fucking all the time, man. She's fucking insecure as hell.
She's daddy issues, the character. She's a stereotype.
Look at me. If you're not going to look at me, I'm going to kill you.
My own perspective is, I don't believe Sonya should be wearing a thong, and I'm surprised when Melina is not wearing one. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. Like,
that's all.
Character design should be based on character. And another thing is, like...
And I think that anyone who expects... I think that anyone who expects everyone to be revealing or everyone to be covered up needs a little bit of perspective.
Yeah, that's the problem. Most of the people talking about this conversation topic are teenagers or very, like, immature casual people who also, like, MK9 was their first game. So they think terrible MK9 costumes are how the characters are supposed to look. And that's not true.
And I mean, that's NRS's fault. They did it.
Yeah.
Those costumes were kind of stupid.
They were.
Well, they weren't kind of stupid. Jesus fucking Christ. There was some retarded shit in there, man. But, who can blame the kids? They don't know any better. Where'd you learn it?
That's the point. Like, MK9 was not the first Mortal Kombat game. Like, look at the fucking... Armageddon was only, like, 5 years before that. Do some fucking research.
Don't look at it. You look at Shaolin Monks, though.
Yeah, Shaolin Monks. Well, no, I mean, Shaolin Monks has the most naked Melina of all the Melinas.
Melina can be naked, though. That's okay.
Actually, I kind of found Shaolin Monks and Melina rather sexy, and I've never found that a character sexy. Something about that outfit. I don't know.
I like Jade's makeup in that game. It was good.
Legit question from Snake Eyes. How do you guys like their new versions of the Ninja Palette Swap costumes that we've seen? The leather-looking vest and the cross-hatched pattern.
Yeah.
I don't... Have we seen the classic MK2
Is he talking about Scorpion and Sub-Zero's alternate costumes?
I believe so. If there was another one that was classic-y, I would have.
Yeah, I
would know about
I have not seen a quilt pattern on either of those two guys.
When I think quilt pattern, I think directly MK2, and I have not seen that yet. I've seen gear and I've seen outfits that evoke a classic aesthetic, but I haven't seen
That's
MK2
what it is.
the image.
Yeah, I don't.
Sub-Zero's vest thing, it does have a pattern on it, but it's like really, really light, and it's not.
It's more like the pattern it has in MKX, where it's just these horizontal lines down it. It's like a puffy Marty McFly vest.
You're a puffy Marty McFly vest. What is?
Sick burn, dog.
Well, I mean, it looks like plastic is what it looks like.
Yeah, it
just
does.
with like very fine like little things in it, but it's not like the padded stuff from the old game.
So the thing about that is that I actually like plastic for Sub-Zero because it looks like mythologies. But I'm bothered by Scorpions because I need the quilting, and also both of them are clearly wearing pants they got from the set of Bryan Singer's X-Men. I hate those pants.
Are they the same pants?
They are both wearing the same pants. Which
I like that they're both wearing the same pants.
It fits the palette swap thing they're going for, but I just don't like the design of those fucking pants.
All right.
I do hope that Sub-Zero and Scorpion both get both of those, like, plastic BMX masks. Because they both have different plastic BMX masks, and Scorpion's is better. But I want them both to have both.
I like the one on Sub-Zero. I think it fits him.
I don't hate it, but I just want them both for both because I want more of it.
I guess the way I actually come down on it is I'm hoping they get real retros because these are not actual retros.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm appreciating the aesthetics of the plastic armor and Scorp's UMK3 outfit with the MK2 mask that we saw in the very first trailer, but I don't think that we've seen the true retros yet, so jury's out for me so far.
I am glad that there is a new version of a palette swap type idea. I've been wanting them to do that for a really, really, really long time. This is probably as close as we're going to get to it. I like that there is a new one. But we've seen the UMK3 thing in the reveal trailer. Like, they'll have these other costumes.
We've seen that it's possible to already cobble together with a modicum of what's really available out there, a cabal that's pretty close to MK3 cabal. So the best is yet to come.
Yep.
Dap, I'm not sure if this is a response or a question, says, more naked than MK9 Flesh Pits or MKD alt?
Okay, Shaolin Monk's Molina was not more naked than the Flesh Pits outfit. It is more naked than the MKD alt.
That's about as naked as she can get, I think.
She's literally wearing nothing but, like, from her neck to her nipples is covered, and then everything else is just straps. That Shaolin Monk's outfit is showing a lot of goddamn skin.
Guys, somewhere out there right now, the Molina stands are fapping to the podcast, and I don't want that happening anymore. Frumblefoot asks us, I have a question for the lore masters. Well, you're welcome. Will Shang Tsung be in the story mode or not?
I think
so. Specified. Shut the fuck up, Django.
It's in story mode.
I'll be surprised and a little disappointed if he's not.
You don't... Look, the game is shipping with Kerry Tagawa voice acting. He's in the crypt, so they had him and his model done before they started work on DLC. You don't do that and then not put him in story mode. That's just a waste.
You don't get Kerry Tagawa for, like, a crypt intro and some random grunting for the character. He's got to be in this.
He's got to be. Look at this guy trying to walk it back. Dude, I saw you. What are you trying to do? Yes, I think that Shang Tsung will be in story mode. Hot take, apparently. We all agree.
Good shit.
I mean, the hot take comes when he's not in story mode.
Yeah, man, boy. If you listen to this Warrior Shrine that I just uploaded...
I'm not going to know what to think if that happens.
Everybody will be so optimistic about that variation shit.
There will be a collection of various hot takes on things right after the game comes out.
All of them right into Kollector's backpack. All right,
I just hope that we can have the black hair on Shang Tsung, too. I want to rock that.
I'm sure he has a second costume.
I hope.
So, is that it for the night?
I think that might be it. If you're done searching for questions, I'm done answering them.
I think that we're good until someone cleans this channel. But that's as far up as I've gone. I'm at the bottom now.
I mean, I could just
quite a few.
Scrub it with one button press, delete everything.
That might be for the best, really. And if you've asked this question that's not been answered because it's so far up in that fucking queue, please submit them. And to any of our YouTube listeners, also, we welcome questions in that vein as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's a pleasure.
As long as Temp is busy, we have a spot.
Like, you know, there's roster issues. Some of us can't always be here.
Roster issues.
When we want them to be here.
You know,
scheduling things and... I mean, Cyborg has some health concerns right now. People have lives.
Put any pressure. We don't want to put any pressure on people who can't be here at the moment. So
yeah, Tim is crazy busy. Man, that dude has a lot going on.
I know some of the guys out there miss BC and you miss Tim. It's been a couple weeks now that they have not been present. That's understandable. We miss them too.
I think what you're going to find is, like, a year from now after the DLC cycle for this game is over and Injustice starts, you're going to see Django will be the only person who's on the show now who's still on the show. Because me and Shad...
the only person on the show.
Me and Shad don't actually intend to cover Injustice 3. So it'll probably be just Cyborg and Temp during that period of time.
Like, I'm happy to jump in and provide occasional commentary because I have always been a huge DC fan. But, you know, your priorities change as you get older, and I'm not into Injustice, as good a game as it is, the way I have always been for him. And there are other interests I want to pursue. I want to make some music, and I can't do that if I'm going to do a weekly podcast for every single game that comes out of NRS's studio for the rest of my life. So The Lost will continue. Like I said, we're going to cover absolutely everybody, no matter how long it takes. But there will probably be some roster shuffling for the Netherkast in the near future.
Yeah.
Can't say what, because even we don't know right now, but hopefully you'll stick around.
But in the meantime, you've got us. And thanks for putting up with us.
Absolutely.
Hope we're doing enough and right by you. Thank you very much for staying with us so far.
Absolutely.
It's been a truly magical journey, and I think that this podcast has actually made me a better person and a more apt entertainer.
Man, if this podcast wasn't around and it was just me, fucking off without, no Takeda, no Eyes Closed, fuck your variations. With this game, boy, I don't even know if I would still be hanging around on paying as much attention and sticking with Mortal Kombat 11 as much as I am doing this stuff. So it's got its advantages, and I'm glad I am.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason we started the show. Was there was a lull, a dead point in the marketing, and we all wanted to stay hype and help other people stay hype, and that's why we do what we do.
Nope.
Are you going to be all right now?
He is so hype he's dying.
Too emotional.
I think we're all
choking
done. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in, one and all. We'll see you next week.
Later, nerds.
You're still trying to win?